Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be talking about the suspension system I did for my 1/16 scale Valentine. So I posted a short showing like the assembly, or I guess really it was the assembly of this unit. So now I'm going to kind of talk about how it works, why I did things the way I did, and also kind of show the evolution of some of the parts and why I evolved them in that way. So like I'd print it, test it, something stupid would break, I'd restart, or I wouldn't restart, but I'd fix it. I'd solve why it broke that time, print it again, break some other way, and repeat until now I have a what I think is a good design that can take quite a bit of load, it doesn't break, looks good. In fact, it's this. So the way this works is, first off, I'm going to hide these wheels. Well, I'll show how the wheels work first. So the wheels are two pieces for the wheel. So I've got this cap here that penetrates all the way through the suspension arm, and friction fits in there even though it doesn't look like it does because tolerances. And then connected to that, here I'll do a cutaway. Oh, that works. So it's the same for all the wheels. You can see there's just kind of a system here. There's some give, so the wheel actually spins very freely, and it just gets locked in. It can't really wobble too much, and spins well. And it's really easy to pop off, but it doesn't come off on its own, which is really nice. And once the tracks are on, they should help stabilize it so it won't like shimmy out. So that's how those wheels work. I'm just going to talk about that real quick so that I can hide them, so I can talk about the actual mechanism. So the way this works is there's three wheels on this bogie. So you've got this main arm, which I'll also hide this so you can see that, and this. So many things to hide. You've got this main arm, so this is naturally going to pivot up and down. And what happens is you can essentially think of this, if these two wheels are on the ground, it's held here, so this is going to pivot up and down, and the spring is going to compress. So that's going to kind of give this wheel some stiffness, so it doesn't want to recoil as much. And the opposite is also true. If this wheel's held steady and one of these wheels, or both of these wheels are pressured, they're going to want to move up, and the spring's going to want to compress. And what happens is that's actually this piece moving up. So this block here wants to move down at this pivot point, and then these two wheels just pivot around this point. And when you press it down, the two wheels are going to just want to stabilize with respect to this point, and then that point is stabilized with respect to the spring on this arm. So it kind of keeps the entire system contained, and then this whole assembly just pivots. My recording software is in the way. It just does it let me? No, it's all fixed. But anyway, it just pivots around this axis, and that's how you get the full range of motion with the suspension arm. So now I'm going to go into each part in a separate clip because it's going to take a second to get all the parts together. And I'm just going to kind of talk about each piece and how I've iterated it. So I'm going to start with the shroud and the mount point for the body, since that's kind of the most significant, because this is actually an older design. This is not part of it. You can see there's no clutch up here. It just is kind of a block. So I fixed that because it was an issue. So I'll kind of talk about all that here in a second. Alright, so for the first component I'm going to go into detail on, I have the body mount, which is this piece, and what I call the shroud, which is this piece. And I turned out I overwrote all the intermediates, but this is the kind of final design that I'm on, and this was the initial design. So for the initial design, they look similar. You can see there's little pins that run through. I'll talk about that. But this design was terrible. So first off, you've got load being applied to this axle, right? So it wants to go up. I don't have it fastened right here. It just kind of fits inside this really narrow little bar, and it breaks. This loads, and this just pops off. And then when that happens, you've got now a moment being applied that's trying to rip this out. And there's this little block that's supposed to slot into this block and be glued in. That's all well and good, except for you're putting an immense amount of shear onto that glue, and it just fails and falls apart. So not great. So the first change I made, well, actually there was another issue. So if I run over here, this looks fine until right there. That is incredibly thin. So thin that it's basically transparent in resin, and it looks terrible. And it's going to be a failure point, right? Like, that's where it splits. This piece just splits there, and then it creates a crack and propagates through and destroys the piece. So slightly not good. So yeah, this design is kind of just awful. It looks fine, and like aesthetically I was happy with it, but that was kind of the only thing it had going for it. Everything else, it was just stupid. So this piece, there's a few modifications, so I'll talk about all of them, and I forgot to fix that. So I'm going to fix this piece real quick, just so it doesn't slide away on me. So this, it looks very similar. You can see it's thicker down here, and in fact, it's thicker everywhere, because that was another issue, is this piece would crack and just like split on right here, right? You have a concentration right here, stress concentration, and it just breaks the piece. So when this is being loaded, it just, which isn't good. So the first change I made, other than thickening that, is I added this pin through here that attaches to this piece, and then I added a little bit of support here so it's not too thin. And what this does is, instead of the load being applied and basically creating a moment right here, now it's a load applied here, but this basically distributes the load, so it's going vertically up this shroud piece and this inner piece, which is going to turn it into a compression load versus a strong moment, like a strong torque being applied at this interface. So that solved those issues. This being thicker solved those issues. Another thing I did is, you can see that block's gone. It doesn't extend so far. Whoops. Can I move this? Yes. So you can see this piece doesn't actually extend as far as this piece. And also it cuts off earlier, like it doesn't go as high, which means that on this piece, if I go back to the section view, I'm on the wrong plane. There we go. You can see it doesn't get nearly as thin, which is probably good. So that solves that issue. And then originally I didn't have these pegs here that slotted into these holes. So what happened is, it fits great. Like this lower part goes in, good. This part kind of, with the way the printer works, it sometimes has some dimensional inaccuracy for parts like this. And what would happen is this would kind of bow outward, and you'd end up having this piece not wanting to mesh well. So like this plane would not mesh with this plane, but it would actually kind of bow out, which doesn't look great. And also it applies, now you're basically, you've got it twisting around down here, so you have glue up here, but it's being pulled. So what these do is these create a kind of secondary lock where they have the friction fit, and they also, in order to bend, it has to actually like shear off the pins, which it's not going to do realistically. So that holds it together, doesn't split, doesn't do anything weird, and that's where I'm at now. It's stood up to all the testing, although my testing admittedly is just holding it and just pushing it into the table with the wheels on and checking that the suspension actuates and that this piece doesn't break. But it doesn't break, so, you know, testing is testing. So that's the design of this piece through the iterations. Now I'll get to the next piece, which will be the what I call big arm, which I'll show you in a second. Okay, so now for big arm, quote unquote. So this is the piece that the large wheel attaches to right here, and the small pivot point for the smaller wheels. So this is, I'll show that in a second. There's an arm that comes off here, that's where the spring is mounted, and then there's that pivot for the wheels. In fact, do I have the assembly? No, I don't. Anyways, so a few modifications. Here, there's a little slot in this wheel, or in this circle, to allow the second arm to attach and swing around. So there's that. These walls are narrow, and then the pins flare out, which didn't make much sense, so I ended up thickening that and just having it be the full thickness, because what happens is when you try pushing a pin through, if it's not perfectly aligned, you're like pressing it against here and it just snaps, which isn't good. This piece got modified to a different compatibility with the caps, so this in the back here and this in the front here look different. I added this taper so it's easier to get the pin in, because you have a little bit of guidance rather than having to get it perfect. And then here I widened, or actually, oh yeah, no. So this arm piece got narrower than this piece, because that way the other piece could get thicker, and the other piece was pretty narrow, and I'll show that in a second, and it would snap. So I did that, and then I gave it more of a cutout so that there's more room for the piece to actuate without ending up kind of gripping on this edge right here. So that's pretty much what I did here. This 1 just represents the type of suspension. So that just means that, because on the opposite side, there's going to be a mirrored version of this. So it's just so you can identify 1 versus 2. So this is the front left and back right, and the other one's the front right and back left for the suspension bogies. So that's basically all the evolution this piece went through. Okay, so now the next piece. This is the piece that attached. So this is where the large arm connected, where I showed just previously. So in this original version, the larger arm had a thicker block, and that made these pieces really thin because they have to be this is the outer diameter limit for it to function with the bogie here, or the pivot point here, and the wheel pins going through. And there's a pin that attaches here that extends a little bit, so in order for it to fit, this is the widest it can be. And what happens is this creates some twist where the wheels kind of do this motion. Hopefully my mouse shows. Like they go like that. So this piece twists, and that puts a lot of stress on these little arms, and they end up snapping, and then the piece just falls off. So I fixed that. I also thickened up these pieces where the spring like actuator mounts, just to prevent any issues. Again, it has the 1. And then I did some fillets because I'm 3D printing, so there's not really a manufacturing downside to it. And what it allows is it just makes it look a little nicer, it's a little cleaner, and it does add some material, so it reduces the likelihood of any issues. So like here, it thickens this piece here, so it slightly reduces the moment that's being applied, so it makes it less likely that this little arm snaps. And that's basically all the changes that went on here, just thickening it up and stuff. Not too bad. And I forgot to show in the initial part, there's not really an evolution of the pivot point or anything, so I'm just going to insert it and show how that fits. So I'm going to grab the pivot, hopefully. So this piece, it slots in. Actually, there was a slight evolution, but I don't want to go into too much depth. But basically, I added the same solution as earlier, where there's a hole in here, and then there's a cap, which I'll grab. This cap now has a peg on it that slots through the hole. What I can do, it's not too much effort, so I'll do it. Alright, so that was, those were the main parts that actually changed much. Felt like I did more, but not really. So yeah, this return roller has a little cap on the inside that it locks into. The wheels I showed, this pivot, you can see how it just goes through and kind of creates a seal where there's a little bit of give in reality, just because the cap doesn't fit on perfectly, so that this can rotate pretty freely. And yeah, and then that's pretty much how this works. So hope this was informative. I'll keep posting updates on this project as I go, but I thought I'd talk about this real quick since I thought it was kind of cool. Thanks for watching.